Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope that you all are doing great. I'm doing okay. Today is August 1st, 2020, and I decided to bring back CRADA, which means create every day in the month of April or August. And since we're doing August, it's going to be CRADA for August 2020. Just so you all know, the videos will be more frequent, more earlier than later, but today I had life, you know, sometimes it happens, and I had decided that I was going to do CRADA like 3 days ago, so yep. Anyway, I stamped her out, colored her up, and I think I'm going to take you on this journey with me, but it's going to be a quick journey because, yeah, I like her, but I want a regular card size, not this little bitty, what is it, barely 4 by 4, so I want to, you know, she'll be my inspiration, I suppose. But first, I think I'm going to go ahead and go into my favorite paper pad. This is from 2015. This is Die Cuts with a View, the Maps Text and Ledger stack, and I love it. It's an 8x8 paper pad. This is one paper pad that you'll probably always see me reference until I run out of them, and then I'll have to go and dig in the Joann Fabric something and find out why they don't have these things. But I think they still have them in stock, but I have plenty right now. Plenty. I think I have 2 because, you know, Die Cuts with a View is not the cheapest, but this was not a super duper high expensive paper pad. It was on sale, you know, because that's how you get your paper, on sale. You don't buy it full price. Well, you could if you want, especially if it's like specialty paper from a specialty company. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. My little guy is awake, and he keeps running in, which is fine. I just have to pause. So what I normally will do is just keep on creating, even though the video may be on pause and you may not see it. So I'm using my own creation as a reference, I think. So yeah, I really like this scene. I've already determined that this lady is not really at the beach. She is a model, and this is the latest fashion, whatever she's rocking right here. High waist swim thing with a topless shirt, topless, what is that, bandeau? A bandeau top. So yeah, that is what I have deemed is going on, because what person you know goes to the beach and sits in between some seaweed and looks unbothered? Like the look on her face, even though you can only see her lips, her face is covered, and she's looking up like, don't talk to me, I don't have time for this, or I wish you would. Or she's looking at the kids like, why are you going and doing this? Just told you don't go that far. One of the two, or 3 or 5. So I'm going to say she's a model. She's on a photo shoot. Now, I will tell you that I find sometimes just coloring, like I'm no Michelangelo or Picasso or anything like that, but when I color some of these images, I'm like, I probably could draw these out. But then I think about like hands, like this, whoever drew this stamp, the hands it's probably the person that does most of the ladies, the girls or whatever. Like the hands and different muscles, like her shoulders and things like that. I like that. A lot of times, Unity stamp, usually the ladies, if you get them like by themselves, have like little frizzy stuff around, like fraying or whatever. I'm just like, why is that around this person? I don't know. But they always look really cute. And I did not look on the website to see any projects for this stamp. I only do that when I am completely and totally at a loss for what I want to go on. But most of the time, well, not most of the time, sometimes I have an idea of what I think we will be doing. And sometimes it doesn't always work out like that. Go ahead and color her hair. I'm just all over the place because I'm trying to rush. For those of you that create YouTube videos, you know, sometimes it takes 3 years to upload a video, and then when you talk a lot like myself, it takes even longer. So I just need to be mindful of that. She has one nail showing. And we're gonna pop this pin on. Like, you know, when you do editorials, or when they do editorials, not you, unless you do that kind of stuff, I don't know. But when they do editorials, you know, it's all about all the details. Like, she could very well be advertising this beach for a vacation spot, right? I hope not, because it looks plain Jane boring. Who wants to sit in this bush is all I'm saying. I don't. So what I did right here is I just kind of colored this up. Now, I'll tell you, I had did that project already. And I was going to go with it. Then I trimmed it down. And I didn't like how I trimmed it down. Even though I think it's nice, I can just plop it in like a junk journal or something like that and make it like a pocket. I was not too pleased with it after I had chopped it up so much. So that's why I'm trying to keep the outside areas a little bit cleaner than I did on that one. The other one, you know, I usually do my side swatching on the project because I'm cutting it down anyway. But on this one, I'm trying my bestest not to do that. I know bestest isn't a word. I made it up just now. Just like everyone else has ever said bestest. Like my most beautifulest. So, yep. I hope that you all have a great weekend. I've been talking about this a lot. So, I'm going to go ahead and just put it out there. My baby, my little guy, is going to school soon. And I am so excited, yet I'm not really excited because he's going to school at home. And I do not think by any means that my child going to school at home is the same as homeschooling. So he has a teacher, you know, they're going to be doing online stuff, but he's 4 and someone has to teach him how to use the mouse. And that someone is momming. My son is hard-headed, like his father. Right? All blame goes to the man, right? So, yeah. Guess who's going to have to teach him how to click on the mouse and all this stuff? Because they even want the scholars, is what the school calls them, to be able to log on the computer by themselves. Now, school starts at 8:30, which is fine because I want him to go to early session anyway. And, you know, if he's going to regular school, it's going to be 4 hours. But now since he's going to school at home, it's only going to be like 2.5, 3 hours. And it's pre-K. And that's what I was saying the other day. I was watching Deb Hoax Crafty Cottage. She was doing a live stream. And I was saying, you know, a lot of people are saying that their kids are going back to school. I was like, you know, if you have a 12-year-old, they're used to school. They know people. They have friends. And it's easier for them to get in the groove of doing it online versus someone that does not understand school structure, anything like that. And my child has been out of daycare forever, so it's going to be a rough experience for he and I. I can already sense it. And I'm going to go into it with a better attitude when school starts, of course. But I just feel kind of like, what's going on with that situation? And I'm not blaming the school at all. I'd much rather them attempt to pretend like they're worried about all the kids' safety and not just government funding or money from them. Although his school is a charter school, not private, but it's a charter school, and you have to apply to get in and all this other junk. So that's what we did, and we went through that. Well, in January we went to like orientation, and then he had to go and do a placement test. Like I don't know what to ask because they don't let you go in the room with them. And I was like, okay, well, let's see how this works. And so you can start at 0 or X number. And he didn't, thankfully, I'm doing something right as a parent. He doesn't start at 0. And since then, I've just been gradually shoving education down his throat. Now, I'm not one to force. I don't believe in forcing your kids to do certain things. So you'll never hear me say, oh, well, I made him do this. But some things I feel like he should be able to do. He should know, and he should want to do it, because other things he knows very well. And some things he didn't know, and I fault myself for that. Like the alphabet, even though he liked the alphabet song, he never really tried to identify it. We have alphabets on the refrigerator. I bought him blocks with all kinds of words and alphabets and all that stuff, books we can read, and he didn't know his alphabet. He didn't know how to identify him. He couldn't spell his name. And so I was like, well, no more cartoons, no more regular TV, like no more cable. We're going to switch this up. And thankfully YouTube has learning stuff on there, right? So I just made a learning playlist, and I think I've expressed this before. And like within a week, he was doing it, because I don't think my little guy is like a dummy, and I know dummy is a harsh word, or not able to learn, but he's very good at pretending like he doesn't know stuff. So you could tell, so you can look bad when he asks you the question. Like he'll be like, so what is this color? And you tell him, no, it's not this color, it's this. Like he's very into that, and he's very into like words. Like he'll say, Mommy, what is this? And if I tell him it's a gel pen, he'll always refer to this pen as a gel pen, versus if I would say it's a writing pen or a glitter pen, whatever title you give it, that's what he says. Like I had got him some Crocs last year, and he grew out of them, and he really enjoys them. He's like, let me get my shoes. My blue shoes is what we call them. Like I try to identify a lot of stuff by color so that he would learn, gradual education. He'd learn his colors and things like that. So I'm all over the place with this directions of coloring. If you do decide to do alcohol markers, in my opinion, I'm not sure what the experts say, you should pick one direction. If you're going to do circles, then do all circles. If you're going to do up and down, do up and down. If you're going to do cross, do a cross. Don't do up and down and what I'm doing. Don't do that. Because I just think it makes the blendability a lot easier when you have all your strokes going the same direction. See, this is definitely sand, right? So that's my tip of the day. Just don't do what I just did. But I can't go across like this unless I change it to the fine point, which I should have done. I didn't even think about doing it like that until I was explaining to you what not to do, right? Because that's how smart I am sometimes. So anyway, we started watching educational stuff, and back on the shoes. And so we had hung out with one of my friends earlier in the year before everything was closed down in San Antonio and then reopened. And she was like, oh, you have on Crocs. I like your Crocs. Right? He's like, these are not Crocs. They're blue shoes. Right, Mommy? I was like, and the bad thing about American language, the English language, the American, not the Queen's language, is we have so many names for so many things. I was like, well, son, they are your blue shoes, but the name of the shoes are Crocs. So now whenever we go places, he's like, Mommy, can I wear my Crocs? And if we're going to go for a long walk or something, like, no, you need to put on your sneakers. Like, I don't ever identify any of his stuff by brand. Like if he has on Nike or something like that, I never do that. His dad, on the other hand, since he's a shoe head, he will identify things by those types of names. And so he had some shoes with numbers on them. And he was like, I need to get my number shoes right. And his dad was like, what, your LeBrons? And he was like, yes, I need to get my buns. And I was like, oh my goodness. Because I don't want him to be superficial at all when it comes to certain things. Like, you can be superficial about being like smart, or you can be superficial about being a genius, all going back to education. Be superficial about something that's important, which if you're being superficial, then I don't think it's anything really important. This is a really good color. Baby blue, I like this a lot better. But I did this backwards. The last time I used my Aquaman, and then I colored over it with it. So hopefully you all understand what I mean when I say, like, I don't, like when I tell you about the alcohol markers, even though you see it's a variety, I just say it's alcohol markers, because at the end of the day, whatever you can afford is what you can afford to use. The same thing with clothes and things like that. Because I rock, before I got to this weight that I'm at right now, I would rock Walmart clothes. I'm not even sure if you all still have JCPenney's. When Kmart was around, I would wear Kmart clothes and things like that. But in my opinion, just my opinion, if you're a larger person, cheap large clothes do not wear well. Okay, 2 or 3 washes and then they're fraying, they're rubbing together, and and for me it's uncomfortable to walk around in a shirt. And so right now I'm just doing this. I really liked how I did this because it kind of looks like the water was coming up or whatever, but I probably won't get that effect this time, but we'll see. I'm gonna say so you know, of course you get what you pay for in all things, and sometimes even if you think you're buying like expensive classy crap, sometimes it's just that crap. But anyway, I don't want him to be that kind of person that's only looking at the outside of anybody or a person and thinking, oh well, I'm better than you or this and that because you have on name brand shoes or name brand this or name brand that. I just feel like you know, now I kind of want to fussy cut this lady out and plop her on something, so I might do that with the other piece of paper maybe. But I feel like, you know, we need to accept people as they are and who they are, and that's what I try to instill in him. So I never like say name brand stuff. Like if it's a shirt, it's just some shirt. Bring me your sneakers, bring me your pants, bring me this. Unfortunately, a lot of people do identify things by that. Just like little kids don't see color until we teach them color. Of course they see brown, blue, purple. They see the colors of the pens and markers and shoes and balls. But, you know, they don't see color on people until you start identifying, oh, bring me that. That's the black person or white lady, this lady, that lady. And, you know, that's how I want my son to be. I don't want him to be like, oh, well, you know, the black kid down the street. I don't want him to be like that. I just want him to be like Sean. I don't even know if it's a Sean in our neighborhood, but if it is, you know, when he gets older to be able to, well, play outside in the front yard, then that's where he and Sean will play. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking this tea dye and I'm just going to rub it right here. And this is how I do a lot of my cheater projects. And the reason why I call them cheater projects is because you see how I got this, didn't get all of that in, which I did on purpose because I didn't want to give myself a headache. And unfortunately, this tea dye, in my opinion, never comes out properly for me. And maybe that one's dried out a little bit. I do have some older ones, and so some of them may be time to be retired and just bust out a new one. But I'm going to use it until I'm like, okay, that's enough. And I've only retired like 2 of my ink pads like that before, so. But I think when you blend it, try to blend in that alcohol marker and the distress ink, it works out a lot better for you, especially if you're just covering up little spots. No one's gonna be like, oh, you missed this spot and you used you did what with it? No one's gonna question you on that. No one shouldn't, at least. But some people like to take your work apart, so you have to just be mindful of those people. So yeah, anyway, you know, when I sat down, I had told myself, Brandy, you're not gonna discuss anything that could cause people to be uncomfortable, right? And some people are not uncomfortable until you tell them why things don't sound right when they say things. So I try to make sure that I don't say anything that could possibly misreceived, because I know what I'm sending. You know, I'm saying what I'm saying, if that makes any sense to y'all. So now I'm just going over, and since she's doing a photo shoot, she needs to be shimmery, shiny. I'm not sure what woman would wear a shimmery, shiny swimsuit to the beach, or expect to get in the water. Most of the time people don't wear like fancy clothes like this and just sit and look, but she is doing that because she's doing a photo shoot. She's not here to swim, as we all know. All right, so well, that's the story that I've given her. Okay, you can give her whatever story you like when you say I'm proud. I'm just coloring in her arm some, and I'm so thankful that, you know, we have different markers so we can delineate what is what. And now I'm just going to go on some of the lines that's on the sand, because we want the sand to sparkle too, because we're going to sell this seaside getaway. Her name is Meredith. I just named her. Meredith is sitting here, and she is letting you know that all that glitz does glam. Is that how I go? Everything that, because they say everything that glitter doesn't shine. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. I'm tired a little bit, yeah. But anyway, yep. So, but school. So I got to teach this child how to use the mouse. My mouse died. So I was like, well, let's change the batteries out, right? Because, you know, usually when your mouse isn't working, it's the batteries. But I've had that mouse for forever. For forever. And that's a long time, right? That's what Outcast is. So anyway, if you're, lots of stuff going on. If your paper starts to get cut funny, you can always try cleaning your track out, and hopefully that will work for you. I think we're going to do a landscape card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it this way first, because it is a directional sheet of paper, and I'm going to cut it one sliver above 5.5. Okay. Now here's where we make a lot of scraps for no reason. I have watched people not have any waste. I am not that person. And then we're gonna go 1 notch, I guess it's 1/8, right, above 4 1/4. And I still did it. Don't cut it yet. I should have did it this way first, because I need it to be right here, like this. Right, Brandy, come on, get it together. We're going to use this Michaels card, and what I decided to do is I decided to use this advertising paper because, you know, since she's a model and she's doing a editorial piece, why not just do that, right? So I did cut it down to a little bit under the actual card size, which is fine. And what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to distress these edges up some, but I need something that's heavy duty. I'm sorry, T-dye. I'm not sure if you all have T-dye and does it work for you? Let me know in the comment section. Am I doing something wrong? I mean, I'm not the best at distressing, right? But I'm not the worst, right? The worst is the person that never did it before. That's who the worst is. So, because, you know, I think a lot of, and I'm talking about myself, a lot of crafters, when you first start out, you don't know what the heck you're doing. Not everyone's like a natural born crafter. Sometimes you have to learn stuff. And if you stop learning, then you might as well just give up. Because the minute you stop learning, the minute you stop trying to improve upon the gift that you have been given as a creator, a crafter, it's a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink the bottom up with this brown Vintage Photo, which I really don't really, Vintage Photo is like not my favorite brown in the thing. I think Espresso, is it burnt espresso? Espresso grounds, burnt espresso, really Brandy. Espresso grounds is my favorite, and then I'm going to use Mermaid Lagoon, and hopefully we have some, because I just want a little bit, no, okay, I want it to be a faint color, right? Now normally what I would do is I would take one of the blues that he has, and I would come in and I would just kind of go over that, but my mind sometimes will screw things up. Like, you see how this is right here? This is supposed to be yellow and orange, but because I did this on a pink thing, pink and yellow, orange and pink and yellow, yeah, I'm still going to use it, this creation, just not for the first day of Crater, right? Will you see this stamp used again in Crater? Probably not. But you never know. You never know what could happen. So now what I want to do is I want to take the back of my scissors. And I know I just inked up the edges. And I just want to rough this up a little bit. If you have a distresser, it works a lot. In my opinion, from what I've been told. I don't know for sure because I've never really did it. It works a lot better. And I am just trying to give it that distressed seaside look. And I'm actually going to crumple it up a little bit. Right? And put it down. So when I put it on here, even though you can see like that, you'll be able to see some of the crumple edges with the red around. I think it's going to work out perfect for us. Sometimes you can't be afraid to try things. Remember I said the minute we stop learning is the minute we start losing. I have been on a hunt for a book for about 2 months now. Not a real hunt because I hate not finding stuff. Now, I love a good challenge. I love when somebody say, Brandy, can you help me find? Oh yeah, I'll help you. That's what consumes me. If you say, I can't find this type of thing, if you give me a decent name for what you think it may be, it's on. Like I have been looking for a craft stamp set, right? I have one, but it's a tiny, tiny one. It's from Carpe Diem. And I have another one that's from, not We Are Memory Keepers. It's a stamping company, kind of like Stampin' Up. I can't think of the name right now, but you know, and they have one I got it and ordered it and paid for it, and the stamps are half the size that I thought they were going to be. Okay, now see, when you do this, you want to make sure that you put it to the side that's going to open, right? And I am not too concerned about the placement because we did cut it down some. All right. So if I need to like drag it over a little bit, I can, because it's okay to be a little bit crumpled because that is the goal of the card. I have distressed it already, so crumpling of the card and distressing it to give it that look. And see, when I crumpled, I was like, yes, it's gonna be great, but you really can't see anything. And then Brandy goes and puts tip. I was like, no, I put upside down, but it's already upside down. All right, so I'm just coming around the mountain right quick. I want this to be like that. I hope that you've enjoyed this Crater, or the first one. I enjoyed making it. I really did. And here we go. I like that. The next card I do, if I do another card, it's going to be a well, you just have to see, because I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. It may be something quick and simple, a 5-second thing, a 5-minute thing, not a 30-minute thing. And it is, you know, I thought today was Sunday. It's Saturday. My days are off. So yeah, anyway, back to school really quickly. I have to teach my 4-year-old how to use a mouse because I don't give him a lot of electronic devices. He sees the phone from time to time and he sees the tablet, but I spent some money on those trains. He gonna play with those dang trains. Is how I feel. All right, I pulled out my Fiskars stamp and it just says gratitude. Yeah, that's nice. Because even though I'm saying it's an editorial, it's not really an editorial. All right, and then I just decided to put some, glue some gems down right here. These are Crafter's Companion gems. Of course, you know the inside is blank. So I hope that you've enjoyed this first video for Crater, August 2020. I want to say thank you all for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.